Due to impressive results and 76-year-long tradition, Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops Novi Sad has become the leader in the field of agricultural research in Serbia and the region, especially in the field of plant breeding. In addition to the significant share on the Serbian market, Institute's cultivars and hybrids are present in 26 countries worldwide, from Argentina, European Union, Ukraine and Russia, to China, India and Japan. Over 1,000 cultivars and hybrids have been developed at the Institute, almost 500 of which have been released and grown abroad in the competitive open market of the world. Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops has a powerful scientific team of over 100 researchers, 70 of which hold a PhD degree. They are assisted by over 300 educated staff members of various profiles, which guarantee the quality of seed, technology, training and services offered by the Institute. Institute consists of these research departments: maize, oil crops, soybean, small grains, forage crops, sugar beet, vegetables, alternative crops, laboratory for soil and agroecology, laboratory for seed testing, biotechnology, and two divisions: rapeseed and microbiological preparations. Institute has reached the most important achievements in breeding maize, sunflower and soybean. Development of maize hybrids at the Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops first began in the 1940s. Owing to the continual work, innovations and application of the latest findings in the breeding programs, NS maize hybrids have occupied significant areas in Serbia and worldwide for several decades. So far, 268 NS maize hybrids of different FAO maturity groups have been released in Serbia, 130 hybrids released abroad and 16 in the EU. NS maize hybrids have high genetic yield potential, good adaptability and yield stability in various agricultural conditions, as well as high tolerance to economically important diseases and pests. Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops is the first seed company to place on the Serbian market maize hybrids tolerant to cycloxidin, active matter in the herbicide Focus Ultra. Two such hybrids have been released: NS 444 Ultra and NS 640 Ultra. Institute began breeding sunflower over 50 years ago and has since taken a prominent place among world companies, leaders in sunflower breeding. Institute experts were among the first in the world to substitute cultivars with hybrids, and were the first to create hybrids tolerant to phomopsis. They were the first in Europe to register Clearfield IMI hybrid tolerant to imidazoline-based herbicides, and they are the only ones to offer both Clearfield and Sumo hybrids tolerant to tribinur and methyl. Sunflower breeding program at the Institute includes classic oil hybrids tolerant to dominant diseases, broom rape and stress, hybrids tolerant to certain herbicide groups, imidazoline and sulfonylurea, hybrids with improved oil quality or high oleic hybrids, confectionery hybrids, bird feed hybrids and decorative hybrids. Almost all important world companies are buying NS genetics. Over 400 NS sunflower hybrids released in 24 countries of the world is an outstanding result of the Institute. NS sunflower growing areas today exceed 3 million hectares. The main activity of soybean department is soybean breeding, creation of new high-yielding soybean cultivars of different growing periods, improved technological quality and high level of tolerance to abiotic and biotic stress. The result of long-term soybean breeding is the release of 116 cultivars in Serbia. Soybean cultivars of the Institute occupy 70 to 80% of total soybean areas in Serbia. Total of 69 soybean cultivars created at the Institute have been released in 10 European countries. Experts from the soybean department manage the production, processing and placement of pre-basic, basic and commercial seed of all NS soybean cultivars. Within the soybean department, there is the Microbiological Preparations Division, where theoretical and experimental findings are used in the production of NS-nitrogen, which includes several commercial biofertilizers applied to legume crops, such as soybean, green bean, bean, pea and alfalfa. Research activities in the small grains department are aimed at breeding or creating new cultivars of small grains. Primarily, these are wheat and barley cultivars, which perform better than the existing ones regarding yields, quality, resistance to damaging agents and stress. The original task was to create wheat cultivars with genetic yield potential of 10 tons per hectare, or over 7 tons per hectare in the modern growing conditions. Genetic yield potential of 12 to 13 tons per hectare has already been reached, and yields of 15 tons per hectare are in the future perspective. Up to now, Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops has created 418 winter and spring cultivars of small grains. Since the mid-1970s, NS small grains cultivars have been released and grown in 17 countries of Europe, Asia Minor and North America. Total of 36 winter wheat cultivars, 10 winter and 10 spring barley cultivars, 4 spring wheat cultivars, 2 winter triticale cultivars and 1 spring oat cultivar have been released abroad. Activities on rapeseed genetic research, breeding, improvement of growing technology and seed production and processing began at the Institute in the 1990s. The result of these efforts are 10 winter and 2 spring rapeseed cultivars released in Serbia, 1 winter cultivar released in the EU, 1 in Ukraine and 2 in Bosnia and Herzegovina. Oil of these cultivars is suitable for human consumption and processing industry, while the remains after oil extraction are suitable for livestock feed. Perennial forage legumes are an irreplaceable protein component of UNIFIT meals for ruminants. Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops has released 17 cultivars of alfalfa in Serbia and 9 abroad. Due to high yields and excellent adaptability to the agroecological conditions of Serbia, alfalfa takes up 70% of the Serbian market share. Red clover, a perennial forage legume crop suitable for acidic soils, is dominant in the central Serbia. Institute has released 7 cultivars in Serbia and 3 abroad. Forage legumes and forage brassicas allow maximum use of winter moisture for the production of cheap roughages in the beginning of the growing period. Winter forage pea and winter vetch are among the cheapest, most high quality and most profitable roughages. All cultivars created at the Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops achieve high fodder yields, 40 to 60 tons per hectare of green fodder or 8 to 11 tons per hectare of hay. They contain 20 to 22% crude proteins and are of good adaptability. Vojvodina is the region with largest sugar beet production in the southeastern Europe. Sugar beet department was established within the Institute in 1959. The aim was to create new sugar beet hybrid cultivars and introduce hybrids into the agricultural production. Modern laboratory for testing sugar beet root quality, equipped with an automated line for sample preparation, extraction and filtration, was established in 1984. More than 1 million samples were analyzed over the past 30 years. Sugar beet department has released 48 sugar beet cultivars, 31 in Serbia and 17 abroad. The department has produced and placed over 2 million sowing units on the Serbian market and over 1,500 tons of seed on the foreign markets. The main activity of the Vegetables Department is research on vegetable breeding, seed science and cultivation practices. There are 89 NS vegetable cultivars released in Serbia and 25 abroad. Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops organizes the production and contributes to successful vegetable seed production with 20 vegetable species and 11 flower species. Institute offers over 100 vegetable cultivars intended for open field and indoor production. Research Station for Hemp, Hop and Sorghum was founded within the Institute in Bački Petrovac by the National Assembly of Vojvodina in 1952. Experimental Station in Bački Petrovac changed its name over time, but continued its basic activity, improving the cultivation of alternative crops, such as hop, hemp, medicinal, aromatic and spice herbs. Sorghum Improvement Program includes grain sorghum and broomcorn. Breeding based on World Collection of Broomcorn has resulted in 10 high-yielding cultivars with quality panicle. Oil squash cultivars with and without hull have high yields and oil content in grain. Industrial hemp with high fiber content in stem and high-quality oil in grain is regularly grown on larger areas. Buckwheat and millet have stable yields in single and double cropping systems. Burley and Virginia-type tobacco hybrids have high yields of quality leaves and are valued by the tobacco industry. Research is also carried out on medicinal, aromatic and spice herbs. Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops has formed rich genetic collections of alternative crops, which is the basis for breeding activities. Laboratory for seed testing has the necessary highly qualified staff and modern equipment for technical and scientific research regarding seed quality of all field and vegetable crops, grasses and medicinal plants. The laboratory is accredited by International Seed Testing Association, ISTA, and Accreditation Body of Serbia, which implies that all analyses are performed according to ISTA rules and national legislations. Laboratory performs quality tests of seed intended for national sales, seed intended for export and inspection samples. It performs analysis, super-analysis and issues the corresponding documentation. Serbian Ministry of Agriculture and Environmental Protection has authorized the laboratory to issue OECD certificates. Over 9,000 samples are annually analyzed in the laboratory. Laboratory for Soil and Agroecology is an important part of the Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops. It is the most contemporary, well-equipped laboratory which provides external analysis and simultaneously conducts research on international projects. The laboratory offers fundamental research, expert services and analysis of soil, pesticides, fertilizers, plant material and irrigation water. Soil analysis include physical properties of soil, fertility control, recommendation for fertilizer use, content of dangerous and harmful substances. The laboratory is fully equipped for collecting samples in the field. The laboratory maintains quality management system and environmental management system. The laboratory is accredited by the Accreditation Body of Serbia and authorized by the Serbian Ministry of Agriculture and Environmental Protection. Foundation of Seed Program, which is responsible for Institute's success at the world markets, comprises a strong team of researchers, contemporary laboratories, sophisticated seed processing centers, greenhouses and well-organized seed production, which enables seed multiplication throughout the year. In addition to research and development of new lines, hybrids and cultivars, the Institute of Field and Vegetable Crops started operating as a commercial seed company in 2005, when it introduced recognizable brand name NS SEME. The Institute sells its high-yielding NS SEME cultivars and hybrids of top quality and good adaptability in Serbia and 35 countries worldwide. Institute's cultivars and hybrids are respectable competitors to the largest seed companies of the world, and SEME brand is deservedly recognized as one of the best export products of Serbia. Award Best of Serbia is just one of prestigious prizes that the Institute has received.